So when I got back into collecting again, I had some long boxes that had been sitting around for years, I'm talking decades. So I started going through my books and I noticed that a lot of times there would just be this slight bend to the books because of all the weight from the front books pushing down the back books. I even put cardboard every once in a while down the books and it just didn't help. The cardboard eventually bent. Comic books actually weigh a lot, so when they push down, even in short boxes over time, you can get that bend. So how do we stop that? Well, I thought about the problem for a long time, and I finally came to the conclusion that storing comics the long way just really doesn't work unless you have some kind of barrier that's solidified into the sides of the box in order to stop it. But you know, some of these things can be expensive to do this. You know, they do make the comic book boxes that have these, but the boxes are extremely expensive. I didn't want to pay that, so I just wanted to stick with my cardboard boxes, so I came up with a solution for it. So let's take a look. Alright, so here is one of my long boxes, and you can see what I've done here. I've gone sideways along here with pieces of cardboard in between. So what you can do is you can get 3 different sections here this way, and then in the back you actually still have room to add a few more books. And I've actually done the math on this. You can actually fit more books in a long box doing it this way than you can going this direction. So you can get about 50 books per section here, so 50, 100, 150, you know, and then 20 or whatever down here probably without top loaders, who knows exactly. So you know, you're probably looking at 180 to maybe even could squeeze 200 books into this box this way. I'm not sure what the total capacity was, but I did count doing it this way versus another box I had the old way. I don't actually have any boxes doing it the old way anymore, so I can't really give you an example of that or show it in this video. But when you only have 50 books, that's not very much weight. But you want to find that nice happy medium where you can still pull this back and see your books. You know, you don't want this so tight in here that you can't pull it apart and see the books. We don't want to, you know, squeeze it like a vise in here. So we don't want to overload sideways, but we want to keep it, you know, so it's not able to have weight coming from back here to up here, even though it's still only a lot less books than coming from the full direction. Kind of want your books to stand up on their own, like they're standing here. These books aren't really leaning. I mean, there is a slight little lean to these, but you don't really want them like heavily leaning one direction. You pretty much want it to be standing up, straight up and down like this. There still is some weight coming this direction. Now, the 2 top loaders will mitigate that. You know, always keep a extra, you know, I have a price guide I keep in here when I can't fill my box yet. Just to make sure that you divide these sections, I use cardboard to do it. You know, you don't want, you know, these books to get intermingled, and then when you take one out or try to pull one forward, you actually could bend a corner. So just be careful of that. And I also recommend putting a top loader book on every end, like this. So no matter what book it is, just every end have a top loader like this. And then that will help mitigate damage from being up against the sides of the cardboard, because this cardboard, when you do it this way, will tend to bend back a little bit. So we don't want our comic books being like, you know, concave or whatever the word is for that. And then all the books I put back here, I just put in top loaders. I mean, these are some valuable books back here that I keep. So, you know, besides that, I keep those in top loaders anyway. So the other option that you can do is to use a product, which, you know, they're not super cheap, but you might be interested in investing in it. It's called these comic barricades. And they're basically these thick, hard plastic dividers that you can put inside the box. Now, I've actually done it here in this one, in my short boxes. This is actually what I prefer in my short boxes. So I do have 2 dividers that I put in each of these boxes. And what I do is I just have 20 top-loaded books in between each divider like this. So you can see these dividers. The only knock on these is they don't really fit well, but they still do a decent job. You know, if you can work them out of there, you know, but there is a way to get these to fit a little bit better, and, you know, I'm going to do a video on that. And if so, I'll put a link above into the description as well showing you how to do that. But it certainly is better than nothing. And, you know, but I actually can't say that I recommend these just because they don't seem to fit very well. Seems like there's a better option for this. And if they would just make these adjustable or a tiny bit wider, you know, because they just don't seem to fit these boxes very well. So, but I did pick up some, and I use them for my short boxes now. I don't recommend them for the long boxes, although you certainly can, but it becomes kind of cost prohibitive. These are not cheap. But I will put a link in the description to these in case you want to check them out. So yeah, if you're going to do a short box, I recommend keeping it still the long way here, but make sure you have some kind of divider in there. And I mean, you certainly could go sideways on this as well, but I mean, it's just up to you. It's personal preference. But the main thing of this video that I wanted to highlight that I came up with was I never see anybody do it this way, but it just works great for me. I don't have to worry about these comics ever getting damaged from the weight of the comic by doing it this way. So I hope the solution helps some people out there. We can keep these books nice for a lot longer without having to worry about them getting damaged just while they sit around in storage. So thanks for watching. Happy collecting.